been going down the drain.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
And now, live, unedited, unrehearsed, and unapologetic, straight off the ledge, it's JD and Smitty!
Hi, welcome to the program. Welcome to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD's actually on vacation today, the lucky dog. Phone lines are open, 239-277-9600 or 775-9600. Thanks to executive producer Tripod Billy. We are streaming live video at theledgeradioshow.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Ledge Radio Show. And a big thanks to our studio producer, Sick Rick, along with our special guest host, former U.S. congressional candidate, Byron Donalds, and, of course, the ever beautiful and vivacious Amber. Good morning, Byron and Amber. I should be like Brent Musburger, you know. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our title sponsor, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security, for all your fire alarm and security, CCTV, or access control needs. Call Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today at 239-288-6482. That's 239-288-6482, or visit them on the web at www.theimperialfiresecurity.com. It's always early, but welcome aboard, guys. What's happening, huh?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey man, Smitty, you were so nice to us this morning.
Well, I'm always nice. I have to give Byron his props. We were actually down at the five hot mics, and no, that's not Magic Mike dancing. It was 5 hot mics that we were down at the Gray Oaks that was hosted by Chris Hudson and
Taryn
Bragdon.
The
accountability.
It's the Foundation for Government Accountability.
Yes,
FGA,
yes. Yeah, they were very kind, very gracious to us. But they had us down there, and it was a 5-mic forum where everybody kind of had their speech and what they were talking about and different issues and debates. And it was lively. It was fun. Of course, it was stacked in his favor. You know, I was down at the Gray Oaks.
Stacked.
You know, it was stacked. It's like it's going fishing at a stock pond for him. You know, it was nothing for him to beat me up. But he won. He won. He got the Golden Mic Award.
I got the Golden Microphone.
So he
did you actually? I mean, at the end, they actually award someone.
They awarded me
Did
a
they?
Golden
Oh yeah,
Microphone.
a little. Well, it's not solid brass gold. You know, it's not gold.
It's
They
100% plastic
solid
gold, mind you.
100% plastic gold.
100%.
Mined with cheap labor.
Hey, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Congrats. I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was coming up. I didn't know it had already taken place. And I know what JD's coming up next.
Yeah, JD's
going
to be invited down there. At least we're told. So, you know, I hope hopefully he can get in there and get his voice set and you know whatnot. So,
did you guys cover like a variety of issues or?
Oh, we covered everything. We covered
Man.
The debt deal. We covered what's wrong with the Republicans.
yeah, of course.
There's nothing wrong with the Republicans. What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's
I'm
talk.
joking. I'm joking.
As a Republican, there's stuff wrong with the Republicans. We're going to get into that.
I did that in Smitty's favor, obviously.
That is what is wrong with the Republicans.
Denial.
That's it. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong.
Denial.
There's nothing wrong.
Oh no, we covered, and then we did like what was the thing like super laxatives, the things in senior high school yearbooks.
That's right.
That's what one of the guys called it, where he said who's most likely to do this, who's most likely to do that with the 2016 potential presidential candidates. We got into a bunch of stuff, gun control, all that stuff.
We talked about who
cool.
would be the best candidate for the GOP in 2016.
Oh, that's Marco Rubio. That's without question.
And I said, how can you not have Bachman and West on a ticket? I mean, that is
Oh, God.
that is flat out showmanship right there. I mean, you could get a sitcom going for at least the whole season. I mean, just follow them two around, man.
Yeah.
Everybody be
A lot of people
pointing
shooting themselves
because
in the
West
foot.
blame everybody be communist.
Let me ask
you
you,
know?
hold on. I'm gonna put Michelle Bachmann aside for a
Okay,
moment.
no, please don't.
Please.
Alan West or Joe Biden? Is there even a comparison between the two?
Yeah,
Alan West is by far more intelligent.
So you
He's
say.
a better spokesman
Yeah.
than Joe
Hands
Biden
down.
could ever.
Yeah, but
could
Joe
ever
Biden's
be.
vice president, so he's one up on all that, you know.
I love how the left, it's like, oh, you know, Biden's just, you know, kind of like a drunk uncle. I mean, you guys just kind of
what?
like, you know,
Biden
just
is
pass
a
him aside. You know, he's an idiot. We all know it.
Biden speaks his mind. He's a very blue-collar guy. He connects with people. Something I know the
But
GOP...
see,
He's not a blue-collar guy.
Pounded him to
Something I know
death.
that the GOP can't do. They can't do. They can't
There's
connect to
nothing
people.
blue-collar about
he
Joe
says
Biden.
things that off-cuff. He says things very loose-handed, and I like that about Joe.
Hey, Smitty, Joe Biden was in the Senate for like 30 years. Ain't nothing blue collar about him.
Man, he used to
still
take
drives a blue collar
he would take the bus, the transit bus, from like Delaware, New Jersey, wherever he was from, all the way down to every day for like 30 years.
Nonsense.
Joe
Biden plugs himself.
277-9600 or 775-9600. Give us a call if you want to bash these guys over here.
No, real quick. In all seriousness, because I know we're probably going to go into gun control, but actually, I just pulled up the report on this.
Yes.
In this Algeria situation with the hostages, all the hostages are being reported as dead now.
Well, Joe Ruffini's calling in. He's our terrorist expert. He's calling in. I want to get his spin on that. He's calling in about 20 of or so. I talked to Joe last night. He said he'd love to come on, and of course, he's an expert on terrorism. So he'll have something to say. If they reported that, that's just heinous, to say the best.
Awful.
It's terrible, but it's also one thing we got to understand. As much as to bring politics into this, unfortunately. We were told all last year, Al-Qaeda's dead, GM's alive. It's apparent now that Al-Qaeda is alive and well in North Africa, and that's a huge problem. It's a big problem. It can't be ignored.
Al-Qaeda is always going to be alive. It just matters how much they're influencing the whole region. You're going to have some rogue people, that are going out and take their pot shots, because this city, with this gas complex that they took compound, was like 90 miles out in the desert. So it's hard to get to. It's not one of these city places. It's very remote. So for them to come all the way out there and to take these people and to kill them is just, it only takes a couple people to do it.
That's true. But listen, Afghanistan is a remote country for the most part. They were there. Yeah. There's many reports that the rebels in Syria are Al-Qaeda.
Right.
There was Al-Qaeda remnants in Egypt. Al-Qaeda is all over Libya. They're infiltrating Mali right now. I mean, they have spread far from Afghanistan. They're in all of the other countries in the western half of the Middle East and in North Africa. We have huge problems over there. We can't ignore them with just simple rhetoric. That's my view. That's my point.
No, and it's sad anytime you have to deal with these people, because they are unreasonable.
Well, I think Al-Qaeda also, kind of looks upon, to prey upon, the nations that are, kind of impoverished, and because that's the kind of clientele, not clientele, but those are the kind of the troops that they're going to kind of rally behind them, to kind of find a cause.
Well, they're easily misled.
Exactly.
They're easily
they have
misled.
nothing else,
Lack of education
cause,
over there has caught up with them, and they just believe anything that they're taught, and they're never taught to think outside the box. They're never taught to think for themselves.
We just need to send Joe Biden over there.
Yeah.
Joe will get on a case.
We'll send Alan West.
Listen, Alan West handling business over there. Let's be perfectly clear about that.
Alan West already got what was he indicted for? Putting a gun to somebody's head one time and shooting it. And
because one of the guys in his platoon was shot and killed, and he wasn't having it. He took no prisoners on those guys. But listen, in that part of the world,
he's a soldier, no doubt.
In that region,
awesome.
strength matters.
Right.
Yeah.
All the diplomatic talk in the world doesn't matter to them. Strength matters over in that region.
We'll jump back on that, of course, when Joe gets in here. Yeah. Let's talk about the gun control just for a moment, because as you know, the president came out this week and he implemented some things. Some things he did on his own, executive order. Some people, don't like that. Some things he kicked back to Congress. And I think it was pretty good. I think he didn't overstep his boundaries. Everybody, I stood in here for week after week, and everybody will tell you, Sick Rick will tell you, all I heard about was the president's going to take your Second Amendment, the president's going to take your guns, the president's going to take this, and the president did nothing of the kind. All he did was say, hey, from now on, we're going to have some restrictions, we're going to have some sensible gun laws that we're going to enforce, and all these other rules, he kicked back to Congress.
But the issue is if you look back to Pol Pot, Stalin, Hitler, it all starts with you start putting restrictions in, then you start the forefront of then we're going to start taking guns. My issue is in the Sandy Hook school, it was not the assault rifles that, necessarily massacred it. It was the shotguns, it was the 9mm, it was the Berettas. Yet where, less than 3% of all the homicides are actually because of assault rifles. So why are we putting a ban on something that affects less than 3% of the, actual homicide population?
Those bans are going into effect because that's been on the shelf. That's been the agenda on the shelf. And
exactly.
let's talk about exactly what the president did, because you brought up a very good point, Smitty. The president did not reach very far into that Pandora's box of trying to undo gun law, undo gun ownership in the country. A couple things that he did do. He basically put out an executive order to allow the different elements of the federal government to actually communicate with one another with respect to the background check system. Okay, fair enough. The one cause in all of his executive orders is the one that creates somewhat of an issue is this deputizing, if you will, of doctors. How's that actually going to work? What about the privacy rights of mental health patients? Not all people who have mental health issues have violent propensities. What about regular citizens who really don't have mental health issues? How is that privacy right, if you will, going to be affected by the president's executive order? And frankly, does that order mean anything to doctors across the country? I don't think it does. I don't think it's worth the paper it's written on, but it creates a ton of issues.
Well, I find it ironic that the president would do something like this, and nobody back in '94 when Bush was, implemented the gun assault
assault weapons ban.
Yeah. He nobody said anything about it. It was just kind of like I remember him on TV ripping up his NRA card and throwing it off.
Who, Clinton?
No, Bush.
No, Bush didn't do the assault weapons ban. That was Clinton.
That was Clinton.
Well, one of them ripped his card off.
That was Clinton.
George W. Bush would never do such a thing.
Yeah. It was for, number one, the one Bush, the first Bush, and
was it?
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure it was. I saw it on TV. So
We're
anyhow,
have to look that up.
Look it
I'm
up.
not sure, but
I know
we're going to look
Clinton-
that
If I'm
up.
wrong, I
had an
stand corrected.
assault
But
ban
anyhow,
Go ahead.
nobody said anything about it.
Right,
it was a
right.
big deal. Now the president comes out and he's bashed and bashed and bashed for doing something that was pretty much already in place.
Well, he couldn't do anything legally that would stand up in the court system. He really couldn't. And I will say this, there are some people on my side of the perch who are saying you're going to take all our guns away. And my point to a lot of people was, logistically, it's impossible. There is no way you can effectuate gun seizures in this country. That's not possible. Gun buyback programs really aren't that effective, number two. Right. And number three, half our law enforcement apparatus, National Guard, FBI, sheriff, state police, they wouldn't follow that order anyway, because they understand the importance of gun ownership in this country and the Second Amendment.
And I think that the president supported that. He never went after arming yourself in your home. He never went after that at all. And now we're going to take it back to Congress to see what Congress does. And we know what they did the last 4 years, nothing.
Well,
they sat on everything. They didn't pass anything in 4 years. How can you even justify that?
Well, we can, and we're going to get to that
just
one.
Just justify it.
But here's
4 years,
but let's look
they worked 126 days, I saw last night, and they made buku money. They didn't do anything.
Time out. First of all, let's talk about Congress real quick.
Yeah, let's talk
The purpose of the federal government is not to just make all kind of laws. We don't want them making a bunch of laws every single day. I don't really want them to be that active.
They're doing nothing.
I want them to create a stable environment for us to do what we want to do. Yeah. So we can make all the decisions we want to make. I don't want them passing all these laws in the dead of night. You saw what they did in New York, in the state of New York, my former home state. Governor Cuomo, who, by the way, is the one who was in charge of HUD, who destroyed the housing market, by the way. He had his hand in that, too.
Could be a front runner in 2016.
Oh, let me tell you something right now. With this thing he just did in New York and with his problem in HUD, we're going to deal with him. But that's a whole nother story. He passed this new gun law, minimum magazines of 7 bullets per magazine, but they forgot to exempt the police.
So now
this is what happens when you pass laws in the dead of light with nobody.
He'll just write an executive order with that and change it.
But you can't just write an executive order and change it. This is about the stability of law and the rule of law.
Let me just read you some statistics. It says unbelievable facts about guns in America. This is kind of neat. I pulled it up. It says 80% of all firearm deaths that occurred in the U.S. among 23 developed countries looked at in the UCLA study. 87% of all children ages 0 to 14 killed by guns in these countries are U.S. citizens. 47,500 murders from firearms in the U.S. between 2001 and 2005 alone, and nearly 8 of these 10 murders involved a handgun. I can go on and on. There's kind of neat statistics. Applications in 2012 to purchase firearms went up from 8.5 million in 2002, according to the FBI. The Kentucky saw the most firearm applications this year at 2.3 million. Mm-hmm. I mean, these statistics are astonishing.
But I guess that goes back to my point. I mean, what was the whole charade about? I guess you're saying that the executive orders really aren't anything that they're already shelved, they're already really in place. But I guess what was the charade about in the first place? Was it to act like he's doing something?
The charade is for the game show.
That's
all of this. Here's my theory. What we see on TV, that's the game show of politics. These guys, Republicans and Democrats, they're up there, slapping backsides and drinking champagne and going to dinners with one another. And when the TV cameras come in the room, that's what they do up there.
That sounds a little risque.
Not that much, but anyway.
A little risque.
After a game of basketball
maybe the GOP's playing some of that grab butt, but I know the Dems don't do that.
How dare you? But anyway.
Little towel in the shower. Splat! Got you, bro. Got you, Johnny.
When the camera lights come on, that's when everybody feigns outrage. This whole thing, and let me also say this. I don't really say this much about the President of the United States, but I lost a huge amount of respect for him with that whole spectacle. Using little children as a backdrop to sign these executive orders is reprehensible. And yes, Chris Christie, that is reprehensible. The unmitigated gall of that man to use little children to promote public policy is completely destructive of any sort of educational process in this country, because it doesn't allow our people to understand what these laws actually will do. Right. He's using their emotions to pass an agenda. That's the game show of politics. Right. That's what this is all about, so that Obama cares.
We have a clip I'm going to play for should we do it before break, sick break, or what? We'll do it before break real fast, and then I want you, it's Governor Chris Christie on the NRA.
I don't know.
All of a sudden, you guys can hear us.
Who's a public figure who has 4 children. And my children had no choice, realistically, in what I decided to do with my career and what effect that's had on their lives in making them somewhat public figures and making them subject to protection from the Executive Protection Unit. My kids don't have a choice about that. And to talk about the president's children or any public officer's children who have, not by their own choice, but by requirement, to have protection and to use that somehow to try to make a political point, I think is reprehensible. And my children had no choice that I wanted to run for governor. I mean, I pretended that they did. I asked them what they thought. But in the end, they had absolutely no choice in whether I ran for governor or not. And they knew that, by the way, when I was asking them, which is why they didn't spend a whole lot of time answering. But the effects on their lives are significant. And they're a full couple of steps down from the effect that it would have if, when your father's president of the United States and the security concerns that go along with that. And to somehow feel like, try to, as I said in the commercial, the president has, armed bodyguards for his children, but doesn't think it's good enough for your children. And, the president doesn't have a choice. And his children don't have a choice of whether they're going to be protected or not. The reality of our lives in American society don't lead to that. And I think it's awful to bring public figures' children into the political debate. They don't deserve to be there. And I think for any of us who are public figures, you see that kind of ad and you cringe. You cringe because it's just not appropriate, in my view, to do that. They've got real issues to debate on this topic. Get to the real issues. Don't be dragging people's children into this. It's wrong. And I think it demeans them. And it makes them less of a valid, trusted source of information on the real issues that confront this debate.
There you go.
Okay.
That's from Christie, your GOP guy. And I agree with him 100%. I agree with him 100%. Going after kids.
Of course you would, because
having
the Republicans are actually, there's a Republican out there that's actually agreeing with Obama. Of course you're going to
That NRA ad was despicable. It was despicable to think that they're going to say, are your kids less important than the president's kids? That's not the point. That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous.
I have to say, Chip and I were
You guys were so cheap shot. That's low ball, low rent, cheap shot.
Listen, just zip it for just a second. I was in labor for 2 days, so of course I let me just speak on this.
I have 3 kids. Look at me. I look great.
All right, let me just say this. Okay, Byron, help me out here. I mean, it's one thing.
Well, he can help you out with the kids.
Well, no, about what? Yeah.
What do you mean? He's got his own damn kids, all right?
No, about with our view with this. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, to say we're going to put a retired officer, our veterans coming back, and say we're going to put $40,000 to put a veteran, in a school. They can actually help protect our kids, but no, we can't even sacrifice that. But yet we have senators we're paying, that are out of Congress now for, 30 years.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a real quick break. 277-9600 or 775-9600. If you have a voice on this last clip we played, or you want to talk to Byron Donalds or our lovely vivacious girl here, please give us a call. We'll be back in a couple seconds.
Weekends. Picture me. Tiny bikini, straps undone, ice cold beer in hand, and blaring the best damn classic rock, period. Every weekend on 96K Rock, we shut up and rock. Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, Aerosmith, GNR, Bon Jovi. If it makes my ass shake and makes my beer taste better, we play it. All attitude, all the time. 96K Rock Weekends rock.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small, secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at ImperialFireSecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at ImperialFireSecurity.com.
License number EF2000046.
The nicest used cars anywhere in the country are right here in Naples. And they're all on NaplesUsedCars.com. Hundreds of extra clean, low-mileage used cars at a fraction of their original prices. All makes, all models. And right now it's our New Year clearance event with over 600 vehicles in stock. We're having a clearance event this weekend only. Imports and domestics like Dodge, Honda, Chevrolet, Subaru, and Toyotas all start under $5,000. Under $5,000. Luxury vehicles including Mercedes, BMW, Infiniti, Lexus, and Lincoln are on clearance starting under $10,000. Mercedes under $10,000 this weekend only during the New Year clearance event at NaplesUsedCars.com. Browse at your own pace 24 hours a day. Get your trade value, your interest rate, your down payment, your monthly payment. Even fill out your credit app online. Plus, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours. Visit NaplesUsedCars.com. That's NaplesUsedCars.com.
Plus tax, tag, and title fees sponsored by Germain.
Hey, Caroline, I think, what we did at Christmas time with those two or three organizations here in Southwest Florida, that money we donated made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. I'll tell you something. So many folks have come in this month of January thanking us for all the help we provided here in Southwest Florida that I got to tell you, I'm real proud to be part of Southwest Florida right now. Not only that, is Governor Scott sent me a nice letter and thanking me for trying to boost the economy here in Florida, and that was awful nice of him. And I think everybody's taking notice because we are involved. And I got to urge you folks, do business with people that are in the community and really supporting the community. One of my favorite other car dealers, Mr. Galloway over there, I know he's very supportive. He's been there his whole life. And there's a lot of guys. And some of these other companies that come in and out, and public companies, they really don't care about us. But I got news for you. Here at Facility Kia, Caroline, what?
Well, we certainly care.
It's huge, Caroline, huge.
It's been said that one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. As lawyers, we're ethically forbidden from calling or contacting directly a client for representation. Sadly, some lawyers or their employees, known as runners, do just this. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. First, could you imagine ever hiring such a firm? Yet some still do. Here's what we all need to do. If contacted, call the Florida Bar and report the lawyer who's made this unwanted contact. Next, if you've already hired them, fire them, and you owe them no fees. Finally, if your case has already been resolved by this lawyer with this unethical contact, you may well be owed all of the attorney's fees that you were charged. For more information, call 1-800-MORGAN-LAW or visit forthepeople.com. Together, we can get rid of these bad apples. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty on 96 K-Rock.
Hi, welcome back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD's on a sabbatical today. We have in our studio Byron Donaldson, of course, our always vivacious, beautiful girl, Amber. And you are just stunning. I'll be like Brent Musburger. Wow.
Oh,
Wow. Like
I'm
Brett
gonna need you to go ahead
I
and
spiked his
apologize
drink
right
this
now.
morning.
Brett Musburger. You get all the chiropractors get good girls.
Oh my goodness,
Wow.
you're such a dork. Pays to sleep with your doctor.
That's
No,
right.
just kidding.
There you go. There's some advice for you. Sleep with your doctor. Welcome back. The phone lines are open, 239-277-9600 or 775-9600. Check out our live stream at theledgeradioshow.com. You can also find us at facebook.com/The Ledge Radio Show. If you'd like to advertise during the show for our primetime slots every Saturday from 10 to noon, please visit our website and contact us for details. Well, last time we took a quick break, we were talking about Chris Christie's remarks about how irreprehensible the ad was that the NRA took against the president, talking about his kids, and I thought it was terrible. I thought it was a low ball shot. I thought it was cheap, low rent. But Mr. Byron Donalds thinks it's okay.
Well, let me first say this. I don't think the NRA's ad is the right ad. I thought that what they should have done, instead of going at the president head on, is to go find 10 people across the country who have used guns to save the lives of other people and themselves. I think that's the ad that the NRA should be running all over the place, not a direct political assault, if you will, on the president of the United States. But be that as it may, Chris Christie has proven himself once again to be a blowhard.
What? He's going to be your nominee. He's going to be your nominee.
I don't care what he's going to be. That does not matter to me. Let me explain something to you. Chris Christie has an election coming up. Like I said in the last segment, this is the game show. He took this opportunity to rail against the NRA, who, by the way, are not popular in the state of New Jersey, to build his platform and his approval rating up to get reelected. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with what Chris Christie did. He's undermining one of the institutions that's actually on the right side of this issue. The NRA's position has been correct to a large degree in this issue. But Chris Christie has used his platform and all his YouTube clips to raise his own personal agenda for getting reelected in the state of New Jersey. Now listen, here's the thing. The president, here's the other problem. Like I said, he's the one who's bringing children into this. The president of the United States is bringing children in. These children are writing letters talking about protect us and take guns and end gun violence in the country. You know 8-year-old kids don't write letters like that unless they're prompted to do so. Right. And that's my problem with Chris Christie. If he wants to be a leader, his job is to raise the stature of the debate, not to shout down one side from his platform to make himself look good. And that's my problem with Chris Christie.
Just because Chris Christie didn't take your point of view, he had a lot to say when Sandy... the storm. Right. Nobody liked when he hugged the president and said, "Hey, thank you." Now they don't like
problem with him doing that with the president of the United States.
Now they don't like when he takes the president's side and saying, "Hey, leave the kids alone." But you guys will fail to say, "You know what? You're wrong. You shouldn't mess with the kids." Let's take a call from line one from Bill on line one. Hey, Bill, are you with us on the ledge?
Yeah.
What's going on, my friend? What's on your mind?
I just wanted to tell you about that, the president, where his, kids go to school. They have 11 armed guards there. They also, they've been there before the president's kids went there. And David Gregory's kids go there. Also in L.A., they have the LASPD, which is a, uniform, police department just for the schools.
That's right. The caller is absolutely correct. In New York City, there's armed guards in the schools. In Chicago, some schools have armed guards. In Miami, some schools have armed guards. And it's not because of a crazed gunman, it's because of gangs and drug violence. That's why they have armed guards. So the NRA's position is, why don't we just do this in all the other schools? Frankly, I don't think it's a federal issue at all. That's something for the local school boards to deal with and for the states to deal with, not the federal government. That's not the president's job. It's not the Congress's job,
I agree.
in my opinion.
I don't think the federal government should be in it. I think that each state should have their own rules.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, it's no secret that people of prominence that are, public officials, they're going to get some better protection than the average Joe on the street. That's just life. You can say, "Oh, it's not fair." It is fair. Thanks so much for calling, Bill. I appreciate your call. But that's the facts. I mean, if you have, the president of the United States and anybody that's in public office, like Christie was saying, you got to protect those kids. I mean, they didn't have a choice. And now these people that are making these office political decisions, they're subject to a lot of repercussions, man.
Oh, no, of course.
And so to act like as if it's a bad thing, it's not a bad thing to put them in schools. I'm
Don't
not against that.
misunderstand me.
Yeah,
I have no problem with the president's kids being protected or Chris Christie's kids or anybody else's. When you're in that public square, yes, your family is open to a lot of stuff. So, yes, they need to be protected. My problem is with Chris Christie running his mouth, because that's exactly what he did. He ran his mouth when we know politician after politician will use their own kids for political advantage. You can't tell me that the president hasn't used Sasha and Malia for his political advantage in the first run. And to his credit, he doesn't put them forward in front and center a lot, but it does happen with politicians all across the spectrum. And so if your kids are fair game and help you get elected, then why is it not something that you can bring up in an ad about why is it that your kids are allowed to be protected, but these kids are not allowed to be protected?
I don't remember one ad with the president talking about Sasha and Malia and making it an issue for him to be the president.
No. That's not my point. Is that a lot of politicians use their family and their kids to make them seem more wholesome, that they're more relatable. That's what they use the family. They bring the family into.
All politicians do that.
I didn't do that.
You never posted.
They were on my website. I had a couple pictures. Well, they were on a push card.
But there you go.
But other than that, I didn't really put them front and center.
I'm not saying you're big after doing it. I'm saying, but it shows a wholesome marketing strategy.
My point is this:
anybody would do. If I had nice kids, and they're all bad, but if I had nice kids, I'd have them in my arms too, standing there going, "Hey, ain't these great kids?
You can't promote your kids.
I'm gonna borrow yours and sit beside me." You know.
I mean, every presidency, since day one, they've all had families. I don't think we've ever had a presidency that was elected that was a single man. Have we? We didn't have any kids?
Reagan's
it was
kids
all
were much older. So
they were older, but they all
were there.
Right, they all had kids.
At least in the modern day that I know.
Right.
Here's my point.
That's all.
Listen. I don't think the NRA's ad was a very good one.
It was terrible.
I don't think it was the right message to put out. I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, listen, Mr. President, you can't come against guns for everybody else when guns protect your kids. And they're right in that. However, I think you go out and you do, honestly, what the president does. He always gives his flowery speech and brings in some person who made some personal touch to him. And so that's what the NRA should have done. It should have went out and found 10 gun owners around the country and just ran vignettes all across the country about why guns help to protect people, they help to protect people's property, their families, and other innocent bystanders.
It seems like a very logical scenario, what you're saying. It seems like any common sense person, and I'm not a marketing guru from college, but you would think something as that simple would be an ace card to say absolutely.
I think the NRA did it, but I think the NRA did it just to counteract what was going on with what the president did, honestly. And I took the ad for what it was. Here the president does it for his kids. Let's do it for all kids. I didn't look any more into it. And I know the left will do that with all, and the right will do that with the left. It is what it is. But I think going back to my original point, I would love to take veterans coming back that don't have a place right now and just put them in the schools.
I think that's the perfect place for them.
Right.
That's the perfect place for them.
They would love to do it. They're trained to do it. That's where we need them. And, we have,
We done talking about this?
Yeah, 277-9600, 775-9600.
Beat the dead horse. No,
we beat the dead horse.
Yeah.
Now, I want to play a little clip real quick, just get your idea, because I know you're not going to like this. I'm going to do.
Go ahead.
This is what Colin Powell had to say, and I think this is.
I'm glad you're going there because I'm ready for him too.
And I want to play this little clip.
There's also a dark vein of intolerance in some parts of the party. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is they still sort of look down on minorities. How can I evidence that? When I see a former governor say that the president is shucking and jiving, that's a racial era slave term. When I see another former governor after the president's first debate where he didn't do very well, says that the president was lazy. He didn't say he was slow, he was tired, he didn't do well. He said he was lazy. Now, it may not mean anything to most Americans, but to those of us who are African Americans, the second word is shiftless, and then there's a third word that goes along with it.
And there you go. And that's the problem with the GOP. Now, you can't sit here. Let's be honest. You can't sit here, honestly, knowing that you've been through that whole debate thing, running for office, hearing all the slander, all the words, all the garbage, all the trash, all the talking. You can't sit here and tell me you haven't heard, even in the back of the rooms, some whisperings and things that were said that probably should never be said, even on air. Because I know I have.
Oh, I have.
And so the president, or the GOP, will always go against whatever he wants to do. And I'll say it right now, it's because he's a black president. I'll say it right now.
I
That's
100% disagree with that.
You
Now,
gotta be crazy.
Let's go.
100%.
Let's dig
I've
into
heard
Colin
these
Powell
guys
for a
say it.
moment.
I've heard them speak about it. I've heard people make comments.
That's just not the case.
And that is exactly
that is
what's going
100%
on.
not true. That's not true at all. Let's talk about Colin Powell for a moment before I get into how I view it. The man deserves respect. Served this country with honor.
Absolutely.
Served this country with honor. He deserves respect to a point. What he did on Meet the Depressed was absolutely disrespectful, and it was dismissive of a party that has supported him in his entire career to this point.
Right.
Let me tell you something about
Colin
Powell.
Calling it like he sees
Colin
it.
Powell, at this point in his career, is out for Colin Powell.
He's got nothing to gain. He's got nothing to gain.
Of course he has something to gain.
He's saying, he's saying this is what you are and this is what's happening and you're out of touch.
The only
you're out of
reason
reality.
he's on Meet the Depressed is because he's going to say something against the GOP in support of Barack Obama, and it feeds their narrative. Let me tell you something right now. You want to know who's less tolerant? Democrats of a black Republican. Look at how they treated Clarence Thomas. Do we forget that? How they excoriated that man? How they brought up, what's her name, Anita Hill and all that other stuff, trying to destroy him? What about Robert Bork? What about Alberto Gonzalez? Anytime a minority or a female rises in the GOP ranks, the Democrat Party and the media is there to destroy that person. It happens time and time again.
Their jobs.
It's not about race. It's about power.
They all got in. I don't know what the problem is.
What you mean they all got it? Robert Bork got in? No, he didn't. Alberto Gonzalez got it? Well, he did get in.
Yeah, and the other
he
guy
slipped
did.
in.
And the other
But
guy,
that doesn't mean they didn't try to destroy him.
the one that was messing around with the girl.
Let me ask you a question.
Supreme Court. What's his name?
How come Condoleezza Rice doesn't say these things that Colin Powell says? She was Secretary of State. She was right there.
I'm going to ask her. She's not here.
You want to know the truth?
She has class.
There is. Well, no, that's true.
So Colin Powell does not have class, you're saying?
I think I don't want to say traitor. I don't want to say that, but I think what you said. I think he's out for himself. I think he's trying to stay relevant right now.
You know what he's doing? He's pulling back the curtain
I think
and
he's
exposing it for what it is.
I think he's pandering to an audience
got
that
no
will
examples.
listen to him. Exactly. I think he's
You know what? How phony this is.
You guys have been beating the president up from day one.
Because the president's wrong, and I got the facts on why the president's wrong.
You guys won't work with the man.
Smitty, I'm black. I'm against the president because he's black.
I'm stunned.
I'm against the president because he's wrong.
I didn't know that.
I'm against the president because he's wrong. A lot of Republicans are against the president because he's wrong. Tea Party people are against the president because he's wrong.
Maybe they're against you because you're wrong.
No, that's not true. Well, sometimes that's not true.
Sometimes
you want to know what I think, to be honest with you? There is nothing that's worse for the modern Democrat Party than black Republicans who are prominent and make sense. Because it drives a wedge in their one voting block that follows them no matter what. Right. The black community, rightly or wrongly, votes Democrat 90% of the time, and they don't even have to work for the votes.
Because the black community understands.
They're
making a connection.
Let me explain something to you real quick.
They're making a connection with these people. You guys are talking down to them. That's why.
Talking down to. Let me explain something. Let me explain something to you right now. The black community, rightly or wrongly, is a community that has always moved in lockstep. It's been that way because of segregation, because of slavery. We've always been a community that has moved together. W.E.B. Du Bois's whole thing was that we need to push up our talented 10th. That's what he called it. So that they're the ones who are going to extend the black community into the next stratosphere of socioeconomic stature in this country. That's how we have thought as a society. But it is crystal clear, whether it be through the Department of Education or any other social program, that the Democrat Party has failed our community. Our families, our young mothers, they deride the public school system, yet the Democrat Party wholeheartedly supports it. And when it's time to go vote, they don't take the time to look at what other alternatives are. The Democrat Party has no respect for the black community in terms of their vote. They expect it. And so what you do to make sure you keep it is that you destroy the character of black Republicans or black conservatives when they come along. And Colin Powell is feeding into that.
No. I disagree. 277-9600, 775-9600. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. If you have something to say, give us a call.
96 K-Rock, Stan and Haney Afternoons.
I wanted to apologize for putting rats on you back in 93 or 94.
Was that you?
But yeah, I remember you were sitting there and you were trying to be perfectly still. Please take them off me now. I am not afraid. Please, you've cured me. Get the rats off of me.
Vic, I'm glad you called and you brought back a traumatic memory for me.
Stan and Haney Afternoons. 96 K-Rock. Talk that rocks.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at ImperialFireSecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at ImperialFireSecurity.com.
License number EF2000046.
Come to Duncan's Diamonds and experience our Rolex watches. Treasured estate timepieces on sale. Save up to 50% on all of our men's and ladies' Rolex watches. Fort Myers, US 41, and in the Gulf Coast Town Center.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about all these dinky-donkey dealers over there on 41? Half of them, their daddy gave them the business. Half of them are out playing golf. Half, that's the same old story I hear everywhere. And here we are, Yucatan, 2013. We're over here in the Cape, grinding like regular people, Caroline. That's what it's all about. We're with the people.
There are a lot of
And then tonight at 12 o'clock, we're going to go party with the people, Caroline. We get the whole ball of wax here. And then about 3 o'clock, we'll do something else like the other people. But, Caroline, we're with the people.
That's right. One of the things that makes us stand out here at Fusillo Kia of Cape Coral, one of the many, many things that make us stand out is that we are open 7 days a week. We don't shut down one day of the week or sometimes 2 days of the week. We are here every single day of the week because we know that your
Guy
schedule.
says in the paper, I'm open 11 to 3 on Sunday. What a cartoon character.
I mean, you don't want to have to arrange your life around purchasing a vehicle.
It's all about being huge, Caroline, as you well know. Huge.
If we had a boat, we could go
fishing, skiing, tubing, cruise around with friends. The kids could invite their friends.
Great minds think alike.
Check out the Great American Boat Show at Bass Pro Shops with great deals on America's favorite boats and a free Bass Pro gift card worth up to $1,000 with purchase of select boats. Plus, free fishing seminars, family activities, and prizes on the weekends. It all starts this weekend at Bass Pro Shops. Find out more at BassPro.com/boat show.
No. You. Niet. No. It doesn't matter what language it's in. When you need automotive credit, no one wants to hear no. At Germain Toyota's Big Lot, when you ask, is my credit approved? The answer is always yes. Si. Oui.
Yeah.
Yes, you're approved. Bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, lien, judgment, unpaid bills, foreclosure, repossession, first-time buyer, we don't care. We have the strongest finance department in all of Southwest Florida. So your credit approval is always guaranteed. Don't have money to put down? Don't worry. We'll take any trade, push, pull, or drag it in. And if you're tired of hearing no, when you ask, is my credit approved? At the Big Lot, the answer is always yes. Yes. Si.
Yeah.
Yes. So for big selection, big savings, a big 100,000-mile warranty, and guaranteed credit approval, you just gotta shop the Big Lot, Collier County's #1 volume used car retailer. US 41 and Wiggins Pass, Naples. Call 1-877-GO-BIG LOT.
When you want to know what the best product is, you ask an expert. So if you want to know why the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is the best for you and your family, just ask doctors and nurses why they use it at work and at home, and they'll tell you. The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer gives a fast, accurate reading with just a gentle forehead scan and is backed by more than 40 published medical studies. Those all add up to peace of mind that your family is using the best and a great value for the money. Get yours today at Babies R Us, Toys R Us, and other fine retailers.
Unfiltered, unbridled opinions and giving Southwest Florida a voice. It's the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty on 96 K-Rock. Talk that rocks. Talk that rocks.
Hey, welcome back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD's actually on sabbatical today. We've been talking to Byron Donalds about some changes that have been happening with the GOP and whatnot. We have a caller online. We have Joe Ruffini on line 2, but we're going to have Joe hold just for 1 minute, Joe. I appreciate that. We're going to take a call from line 1 now. That's Bill, I believe, from line 1.
No, this is John on line.
John, I'm sorry, my friend. All
right, sir.
What's going on, buddy?
Just basically, I've got a lot of comments, just real quick one-liners, that, I've been in the military 25 years, just recently retired. I hear what everybody's saying, and I've been working in the finance field for several years. But, I'm looking at what's being said. The president's just a puppet. We've got our politicians that are sitting in office that make these decisions, and the president has to justify or de-justify what's going to happen in the future with these decisions. And as we go through all this, the president's just making decisions on what Congress is pushing forward. These multiple bills at a time to actually sit there and make decisions on where money is going to be spent, and they can't even come up with a budget when they're supposed to, per the Constitution, by October 1st. They always push it off to somebody else. And then...
the Congress certainly hasn't done a whole lot, that's for sure.
No, and being 25 years in the military, I've seen multiple presidents come through, and they don't even make the decisions. It's Congress, and they just blame it on the president, and we keep putting a new president in to see what's going to happen. But just like, over in Afghanistan, we put President Karzai in place. He's a puppet. And now we've got Obama in there. He's a puppet. And they're going to throw him down if they don't go their direction.
Somebody's pulling the strings.
Oh, yeah. Well, believe it or not, but the whole reason I got out of the military is because I was tired of watching it happen.
What is your opinion on Chuck Hagel right now?
Chuck Hagel?
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't want to go into it.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion right there. Okay.
I look at everything that's going on, and I moved from Alaska down here to start a new life. Watching the economy in Alaska fall down, because the president won't push forward, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. Congress won't push forward to boost the economy on our own oil service, where the past 20 years, Alaska's produced enough oil to provide gasoline from the Continental Divide all the way to the Pacific Coast.
That's right.
But yet we keep shipping it overseas to Korea. We keep shipping it over to China. We keep shipping it down to Argentina. We're not keeping any of that in the United States.
No,
we got more oil coming into the country from Alaska than we do from Saudi Arabia, and we're selling it to foreign countries because we can make more of a dollar.
Hey, John, real quick, and let's be a little bit specific, because I know we say Congress. Let's be clear. This is the United States Senate. The House of Representatives changes over somewhat. They actually do a lot of things in the House. It's the U.S. Senate that blocks so many of these things. The reason why we don't have a budget in this country is because of one man, and he is Harry Reid, Democrat, Nevada. He blocks all the budgets. He will not allow one. He won't allow
Boehner's running the show over there. Nobody wants to bring anything to the floor. He doesn't bring anything.
They passed 6 budgets out of the House of Representatives in the last 2 years.
Oh, please.
Oh, yeah. Past 2 years, I've been running the budget, for the state of Alaska, trying to, help my comptrollers get to where they needed to be. And we have to tell people, hey, listen, you may not be coming into work next week.
He's right.
Well, John, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Our economy, I'm here in Florida, and the economy down here is 1/3 the cost of what it is in Alaska, and you take a week's worth of pay away from people up there, they're starving.
Well, I hear you, man. It's definitely a problem. Thanks for calling in, John. We're going to address that a little bit more in the future. Right now, I want to jump to a good friend of mine, Joe Ruffini. Joe's been with the show from the start, man. A great guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a terrorist expert, an author of many books. He's been in the trenches taking hand grenades with the rest of us, and I'd like to welcome you aboard. Are you out there, Joe?
I am. Good to be with you. Good morning, Smitty, Byron, and Amber.
Good morning.
Good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
Byron was telling me when he came on that it's being reported that all the hostages are dead over there in Algeria.
I didn't.
That's what Byron.
Of course, I've been out and about this morning. I didn't hear that. The last report I heard was that, and that was probably very late last night, was that one American from Texas was confirmed dead. Obviously, if this has happened within the last couple of hours, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not up on it.
All right. Well, Byron was saying that's been reported. I don't know.
It came out on Drudge this morning. It came up on Drudge Report this morning, probably around 9:30 or so.
Well, that's unfortunate.
What's your take on it? You know that area better than any of us, man.
Well, any oil field these days, any oil field, any of the African oil fields, especially when they're isolated, like the one that this event took place at. Oil fields in Algeria, oil fields in Nigeria. I mean, it's a very, very high risk type of work that folks do at that oil field. They're very aware of the risks. I don't know for sure, but I think human nature being what it is, it's very, very hard to keep maximum security up all the time, and it's just human nature that we all let down our guard after a while when nothing happens. I mean, there's only so much security that you can provide for an oil field realistically and financially. And, it's like everything else, folks. If somebody wants to get to the oil field, if somebody really is hell-bent for leather to take hostages, they're going to figure a way to do it.
Well, let me just read something to you, and then you can respond, Joe. This is from the AP. Algeria's special forces stormed the natural gas complex in the middle of the Sahara Desert on Saturday in a final assault aimed at ending a 4-day hostage crisis. The state news agency reported it said 11 militants and 7 hostages were killed. The reports, quoting a security source, didn't say whether any of the hostages or militants remained alive and didn't give the nationalities of the dead. It said that the army was forced to. Oh shoot! I lost my thing. My iPad went bad. But that's the report now. And
my understanding, Smitty, is that the Algerians wanted to take care of this and basically told the Americans and other countries that were offering their elite forces, no, we got this. It's their country. They make the decision, and for whatever reason, they decided that it was time to assault. Unfortunately, hostages. Quite often, we lose some hostages in the rescue attempt. It is what it is. So the Algerians made the decision. They went in there. They're responsible for what happened. But, any way you look at it, it's usually a no-win situation. When you have Islamist militants that take hostages, you're going to have some hostages normally either killed by the militants when they see the assault team coming in, or killed by stray bullets. A firefight is a firefight. Once that bullet is launched, it's going to go where it was launched, and, you can't take it back. So, it is what it is. It's an unfortunate fact of life. This is not the first time an oil field has been assaulted by Islamists, and it probably won't be the last. It's life in the 21st century, my friends.
What's your view currently on the state of North Africa and parts of the Middle East right now? Because from reading the reports, it does not look good at all what's going on over there.
Well, first of all, the American media does not portray the details about what's going over there to we Americans, and it's unfortunate. But what you have here really is the first major social revolution that the Arab world is going through in 1,400 years, really, since the time of Muhammad. They haven't had democracy before. They've not elected leadership. This is a learning process, and we in the West have got to look at it for what it is. It's a learning process. It's going to take a long time. President Obama mentioned before the election when the Republicans were trying to make the disturbances. You remember when that horrible film was hit YouTube, The Innocence of Muslims, and a lot of people on the Republican side of the party said it's U.S. policy, the Middle East is coming apart, and Mr. Obama said, and he's a very intelligent man, he said, no, you know what, it's just a hiccup, it's a bump in the road, and these people got to work out their own lives. And he's exactly right. Unfortunately, the bump is probably going to take 10 or 20 years, but I personally have a very positive outlook. I have a lot of faith in the Arab people. They have a taste now of freedom in Tunisia and Egypt. Other countries, Yemen, they're getting rid of their dictators, and it's a learning process. And, let's take President Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Now, he's caught between a rock and a hard place because if you look at the official stance of the Muslim Brotherhood, it is to bring back the caliphate. It is to bring back Sharia law, pardon me, and a lot of things that we in the West would rather not see. But Mr. Morsi, along with the other Islamist leaders, is coming to grips with what I call the power realities of life in 21st century. He made promises to his constituency. He made promises for better education. He made promises for better for better jobs, for better economy, to improve the plight of the people. And Morsi quickly realized, you know what, I can't do this without organizations like the International Monetary Fund, which gave him $4.8 billion. And the bottom line is, God bless capitalism. I think what you're going to see is, as the Middle East rulers strive to keep their campaign promises to their constituents, they're not going to have any choice but to deal with the Western world and the Western world's financial institutions. And just like I truly believe our chances of ever going to an armed conflict with China is practically nil, because they have become, for all intents and purposes, a capitalist country, and they're very economically involved. It goes back to the whole thing where, show me two countries, two democracies, economically entwined, that have ever gone to war against each other. And I think what you're going to see over the next 10 to 20 years is maturing in North Africa and the Middle East. I think you're going to see many more peaceful, sometimes not so peaceful rebellions. It's going to take a while to work out, but, let's not forget that it was 13 years after we fought for our independence before we even had a constitution. So we can't expect these people, to do overnight something that they have absolutely no experience with. Does that make kind of sense?
No, that makes total sense. You mentioned China, because that's actually a big issue. What's going on right now? A lot of troop movements in the Pacific Rim over there. My personal view on China is that they're going to have their own internal issue with the fact that they are adopting a capitalist system, and you can't have economic freedom without political freedom. What do you think the future is of the Chinese government, and are they on the move towards democracy as well?
Keep in mind, Joe, we're going to have to take a really, really hard break, but I want you to hold on, okay?
Yeah, not a problem.
All right,
you take a break now, or you want me to answer Byron's question?
Let's just take a break now, and that way we'll come back and we'll get your thought on that. Thanks so much.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Joe. Hold on.
From the makers of the Biker Map, it's the all-new The Boater Map.
Hey, this is Chris from the Biker Map. If you thought the Biker Map was big, get ready for the all-new The Boater Map.
Listing and directing you to the best restaurants and bars on the water, service shops, and more. The Boater Map helps you with all your nautical needs.
In over 400 locations in Southwest Florida, all the way from Inglewood down to Marco Island. Be sure to check us out on theboatermap.com.
For more on The Boater Map, visit 96krock.com.
And don't forget, there's a map for that.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at imperialfiresecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at imperialfiresecurity.com.
License number EF2000046.
Rock Solid wants you to be our customer. Rock Solid Countertops and More is your supermarket for countertops, flooring, and cabinets. Complete granite kitchens from $9.99 installed. Bring us your best offer and we will beat it. And if that weren't enough, Rock Solid is now giving away a free countertop system every month.
Are they crazy? A free countertop every month?
That's right. Just come in and register. No purchase necessary.
So if I win and it costs $9.99, it costs me nothing?
That's right. Zip, nada, nothing.
And if it costs $2,500, it still costs me nothing?
That's right. Zip, nada, nothing. So register to win, just like Marie Johnston.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled and flabbergasted.
And our latest winner, Luigi Ponzarelli.
Great, wonderful, lucky me.
Off Airport Pulling on JNC Boulevard in Naples. When coming to see us, look for the Superman sign guy. Call 596-7676 or visit hugegranitesale.com. Rock Solid Countertops and More. It's really big.
If you made a deal, break it. If you left a deposit, cash it back. And bring it to Southwest Florida's #1 volume dealer, O'Brien Hyundai of Fort Myers. In order to increase our 2013 allocation, O'Brien Hyundai of Fort Myers must drastically discount every Elantra, Sonata, Accent, Tucson, and Santa Fe on the lot. Not one, everyone, with savings that no one can beat. And for the next 72 hours, we're practically giving them away. 72-hour sell-off. Change your plans if you have to. You don't want to miss a chance to get Fort Myers' hottest Hyundais from O'Brien Hyundai of Fort Myers. Don't second guess the deal you make. Pay Southwest Florida's lowest prices, guaranteed. Sell-off ends Sunday. Hurry in for the best selection. Get 3,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Plus, America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000-mile warranty. It's a win-win situation. A new Hyundai for you. More Hyundais for us. Plus, 0% financing. Rush to O'Brien Hyundai of Fort Myers. Just 2 miles west of I-75 on Colonial Boulevard. Or click O'BrienTeamHyundai.com. But hurry, this sale ends Sunday. All offers with approved credit. See dealer for details.
As responsible homeowners and business owners, we pay our premiums on time and in good faith. Sadly, insult is added to injury when your own insurance company denies your claim or makes a lowball offer that doesn't come close to making you whole. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We have a section of lawyers whose sole practice area is representing consumers in disputes with their own insurance company. Whether you have questions concerning hurricane damage, fire, business interruption, sinkhole damage, or other insurance matters, visit forthepeople.com for help or call 1-800-MORGAN-LAW. That's 1-800-MORGAN-LAW. And by the way, it's important to know that even though you have already received a settlement check for hurricane or other damage, you may still be entitled to recover for additional damages you discover later. If you have questions, call Morgan & Morgan. For the People. Offices, Fort Myers, Naples.
From the huge studios, WRXK, Bonita Springs, Naples, Fort Myers, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, 96K-Rock, and 96KRock.com. Talk that rocks.
Get off the ledge! Get off the ledge! This country should have hell been going down the drain.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
And now, live, unedited, unrehearsed, and unapologetic, straight off the ledge, it's JD and Smitty!
Hey, welcome to the second hour of the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD's out right now. He's taking a little vacation. We have Byron Donalds here and, of course, Amber. Phone lines are open at 277-9600, or for the viewers around the world watching live stream HD video on the Ledge Cam, 239-775-9600. Visit our website and our blog at theledgeradioshow.com. You can also give us a like on Facebook. The second hour is brought to you by Imperial Fire Alarm and Security. For all your fire alarm security, CCTV, or access control needs, call Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today, 239-288-6482. That's 239-288-6482. Or visit them on the web at www.imperialfiresecurity.com. Technicians are standing by, and we're going to go back to our caller, Joe Raffini. He's a guest right now, and we want to thank Joe for coming back on. He's an expert. Joe, I got a quick question to ask you. Now, we were talking about Al-Qaeda and whatnot. There was a bunch to do about saying that they're done, and Byron and I were talking about this during the break. Is Al-Qaeda really done, or is it just a couple factions out there? What's going on?
I don't think Al-Qaeda is done for a long shot. Not so much the Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda, but all the offshoot groups, the group that's working in Algeria, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Al-Qaeda in Somalia. I mean, the groups that still identify with the original Al-Qaeda and the cause, they're still there. A lot of people in government would want us to think that the threat is nearly gone, and we have killed and captured truckloads of these guys, and especially under Obama's administration, and good on him. The threat is still there. Let's keep in mind that it was only 15 men, not even with one handgun among them, that took the greatest nation in the world to its knees on 9/11. There doesn't need to be hundreds of these guys. There doesn't need to be thousands. There just needs to be a handful that get under the wire. George Bush said many years ago, we got to be right 100% of the time. They only have to slide through once. I mean, we had the SUV in Times Square. We had the shoe bomber. We had the underwear bomber. Do I think the threat's gone? No. Do I think it's as great as it was 10 years ago? No. But do I think it's gone? Absolutely not. And I still say that we're going to see incidents happen, such as airplanes being brought down, these assaults on the airfields. No, they haven't gone away.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good record so far. I kind of agree. You mind hanging on while we take a phone call with you? Maybe somebody might want to ask you a question. Let's take a phone call on 3. That's Pete from Tampa? Pete from Tampa on 3. Go ahead, Pete. You're on with...
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pete.
Good morning. Good morning, Smitty. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine, buddy. What's going on? We got Joe Raffini on, too, so go ahead.
Yeah, listen, I thought I had the wrong program. It sounds too intelligent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, JD would just be spitting at you now.
That must be because JD's not there.
He sends his love. He sends his love to you.
Man, oh man. Okay, listen, the Al-Qaeda is not dead. As a matter of fact, Al-Qaeda has just made the National Rifle Association an honorary member. Al-Qaeda said, geez, we couldn't have done a better job ourselves.
That's just so disrespectful.
That's not nice. That's not nice, Pete.
Yeah, honest, that's the truth.
Well, I'll have to...
I mean, if any foreign terrorists have been doing slaughtering our children, then we would have gone to war against them and annihilated them. But this is terrorism by proxy. Terrorism by proxy is very clever.
Well, thank you for calling, Pete. Pete's been a local.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Pete's a local guy. Calls up from time to time. As you can tell, Joe, he's a JD follower.
No, I hadn't noticed that at all.
Yeah, I figured that. But him and JD, I think they're attached at the hips. Might even be Siamese twins. I don't know what's going on over there.
Hey, Joe, real quick, your thoughts on China, about where China's going as a government over the next,
that was an excellent
next
question,
2 decades.
Byron, and I'll tell you, my own opinion is that communism cannot survive with an intertwined economic system such as we have in the world today. And I think eventually, as the younger Chinese, especially the entrepreneurs and the businessmen, I mean, if you look at China today, the people are already starting to call their leaders locally to task for corruption, for taking bribes. You have entrepreneurism in China where you have a growing number of what we would call young billionaire or millionaires that have more and more political influence. I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, unless I'm missing something here, what have we got? Two communist countries, hardcore remaining, Cuba and China, and we're seeing changes and
Russia.
And, I think now Cuba, the people can actually get on a plane and travel. Now things change. I think it's going to take time. You know, when is the system going to die out? I can't say, but I just don't see a world economy and entrepreneurism as a long-term fit with the communist style of government. I just don't.
In all honesty, listen, communism cannot supply you with the ability to check the internet news from your phone. Communism isn't going to be able to feed you 3 big old square meals a day. Communism isn't going to give you the ability to watch direct TV. And when people start to see that, they desire it for themselves, and it's a good thing.
Oh, I think you're right. You're right on the glide path there, sir. Absolutely.
Once the seed's planted, it's hard to stop it from growing. You know, once they start getting their taste of freedom, once they start getting that, like you said, the feed from an outside source, you start hearing different points of views. Once you start that ball rolling, it's tough to stop. Can't turn it off.
You're absolutely right. And years ago, we called this in the early 90s. If you remember, we called this the CNN effect. Globalization and information at the drop of at the drop of a hat. And really, I think with everything that's gone on with the Arab Spring and the freedom movement. And everything you guys are talking about is absolutely right. You cannot, as an Arab being suppressed by a dictator, you can't be turning on your satellite TV and your cable and seeing so much of the world where women have rights, where women have prominent places in business, in government, where minorities are head-to-head as far as mayors and senators and congressmen and now presidents. You can't, as an Arab, having been beaten down for years and years and years, look at the rest of the world progressing and not wake up one day and say, wait a minute, I don't need to live like this. Let's face it, the last 40, 50 years, the Soviet Union has gone away. Mm-hmm. The European Union has developed. The world has just advanced at such an incredible rate, but not the Arab world. I mean, they really have been stagnant and almost like standing still in time. And now they're waking up and realizing, we don't have to live like that. The rest of the world has rights. The rest of the world has opportunities. You know, the old movie where the newsman gets on and says, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore?
Yeah, network.
God bless the Arabs and God bless the Egyptians. They're really leading the show. We have to hope that they keep a full-court press on the Muslim Brotherhood and presidents like Morsi and get these organizations to back down on their traditional religious and political views and actually
come into the world.
People.
Right. No, I agree with you, Joe. And actually, that's the one concern I have for Egypt and a lot of North Africa is who's going to take control of this whole thing. Is it going to be the people desiring freedom and a somewhat restrained government, or is it going to be the old school Muslim Brotherhood trying to fulfill their goals?
Time will tell, sir. But I'll tell you, I think as Americans, and again, I concur with Mr. Obama. If it's in our national interest or a question of our national security, then by all means we have a right to get involved. But by and large, we're going to have to exercise some patience in the West here and just sit back and let these good people work out their own problems. I mean, this is not a time for America to be meddling. You know, we've been encouraging free elections over there for many decades. The fact that the people like the Egyptians elected an Islamist president, that was their choice, and they're going to have to live with their decision, and they're going to have to work it out. So, really, I think we need to become less involved. We need to be supportive of these peoples when they ask for our support. But if they don't ask for our support, we need to keep our nose out of their business and concentrate, I think, on the problems we have at home, and they are many.
Let me ask you a quick question, Joe. In regards to this Algeria mess that we're in, or we're not in, but, the tragedy over there, is the president going to take a hit now because we didn't get proactive and go after those guys? Algeria, the leader said, we'll take care of it, and it turned out to be, from what we're seeing, a catastrophe.
But let's remember, Smitty, that's a sovereign nation, and we can offer the assistance of our special forces, of our SEALs, of our Delta. But that's a sovereign nation, and when the Algerian government says thanks but no thanks, this is happening in our country, it's our mess, and we'll take care of it.
You gotta step back.
By international law, we've got to abide by that. To send troops in there against the will of the Algerian government would in a sense, be an invasion of their sovereign territory. And people blame this president for so much. It really just infuriates me. When a country says thanks but no thanks, the President of the United States has no choice, and people just need to be realistic about this. Were we ready to go in? Could we have done the job better than anybody else? I firmly believe so. But no is no. This is no different than you and I living next door to each other, Smitty, and there's a loud altercation going on in my house, and you knock on the door and you say, hey, Joe, what's going on? You need some help? And I say, Smitty, it's my house, it's my family, I got it, partner. Go back to your house, and I shut the door. You come into my house, you're still breaking in without my permission, are you not?
Right.
That's it.
You're right about
that. How else can I relate it? When the guy says no thanks, it's no thanks, period. Obama can't control that.
I just hope that you don't have any guns in your house.
I got plenty of guns. You want to buy one?
No. I don't want to keep you for much longer, Joe. I know you're busy. But real quick, what's your quick knee-jerk reaction to what the president did this week as far as his presidential orders? Anything?
Well, actually, when you look at it, unless I'm missing something, he didn't really sign. It was not a presidential directive. He didn't decree anything was law. He's got a list of 23 things he'd like to see Congress to act on. I'm going through the list. The big one I want to see is I want to see universal background checks. And this is really what disappointed me when LaPierre got up on his press conference several weeks ago, and it's the reason why I resigned from the NRA. I agree that, armed protection in schools is an enhancement. I've advocated that for years when I go around the country. But what Mr. Pierre should have said was, and by the way, we really do need to get a handle on background checks. The NRA, their only solution, and the only solution LaPierre discussed, was armed guards on the premises, and that didn't go far. I'll give you an example. I've done a 180. I used to support a civilian citizen's right to own an assault weapon. I did some hard thinking after Sandy Hook and decided I'm no longer a volunteer reserve deputy. I don't need my Colt AR-15. Took me 2 weeks to find a buyer. I sold it a week ago Friday to a deputy sheriff here in town. Now, here's the thing that disturbs me. In the state of Colorado, I could have put that AR-15 on Craigslist, Colorado, met a perfect stranger anywhere in this city, handed him the AR-15 and the 730-round magazines. He hands me the cash. I get in my car and I drove home. There's no requirement at all to even know who this guy is that I was selling the rifle to. There's something wrong with that.
Right.
When a citizen can sell an assault rifle to somebody he or she doesn't even know, take the money, go back home, and business as usual. There's something wrong with that.
Well, my only counterpoint to the 100% background check is this: what's to stop any citizen from doing a background check without a gun transaction? There are issues on the other side of the universal background check that have to be flushed out if that's where we're going to go from a legal perspective. Because if you open that system up to individuals to just do it as they choose to, I mean, could you just borrow a serial number from a gun to effectuate that? What about the personal privacy rights of the individual who's not even thinking of buying a gun? I think there are all these issues that are not being talked about.
And I'm not saying this is going to be easy. But I'm saying that I think the rational man and woman. I live in one of the reasons why I live in Colorado is because it's so liberal. You can keep a gun in your car,
and it's legal to smoke marijuana out there now too, man.
A permit here. I carry a gun with me. I have a gun in my car. I have guns in my house. What the hell do I need an assault weapon for? I mean, you don't hunt with it. You don't protect your home with it.
Some people would.
Why do I need to be able to legally outgun responding law enforcement officers? I can't. It doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
But Joe, but I have a question for you. But when you shoot, say, a shotgun, and say a AR, I mean, which really will penetrate more bullet wise? The shotgun?
Depends what you put in the shotgun, but I don't know anybody that's going to use an AR-15 for home protection. I've heard the arguments before. If it's not automatic, it's not technically an assault rifle. Look, that Colt AR-15, I slap a 30-round magazine in that sucker at the range, and those bullets will launch out that barrel just as quick as I can pull the trigger. I can stand there and put the butt of my rifle, that rifle, in my stomach, and basically take my finger against the trigger and just fan it like the old Western style. Just
John Wayne style.
That finger, I can unload a 30-round magazine in seconds. So, my question is, why does a civilian American need that kind of firepower, and how is that infringing on my rights if I can't own an assault weapon? I've got everything I need to protect my house and my family.
Well, it's the fact that you can.
What's that?
It's the fact that you can. It's our Second Amendment that we can own it. I mean, the gun is only as dangerous as the owner, just like a car.
The Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms.
Right.
And really, if we go back to what the Second Amendment was designed for, it was in the case that our new government became tyrannical and corrupt. It would be the citizens would be empowered to take it back. Now, back when the Second Amendment was written, weapons-wise, the playing field was pretty level. You had a musket, or you had a musket with a rifled barrel. You had a rifle. Everybody had one. They had farms. They had property to protect. If you tell me I can't own an assault weapon as a civilian, that still doesn't infringe on my right to keep and bear arms. I can own shotguns. I can own hunting rifles. I can own automatic pistols. I can own revolvers. I mean, and I don't see anything. People, when President Obama was elected the first term, I must have got 50 emails a day. Here it comes. We're going to lose our rights. He's going to take our guns away. He made no attempt to limit our Second Amendment rights in his first term, and I'm looking at these 23 things he's recommending to Congress. I don't see any threat to my Second Amendment rights, unless I'm missing something. Byron, am I missing something here? I've got the 23 points in front of me. I've seen them. Mental health. He wants the Center for Disease Control to look into the causes of gun violence. He wants universal background checks. He wants more cooperation between law enforcement and their databases. I mean, what in here is trying to take away my right to keep and bear arms? I don't see it.
Well, we're actually going to get into that, because Byron brought that up, a very good point about the medical portion of the law there, and we're going to probably get in that on the second break. Joe, if you want to hang on, you hang on. I got to take a quick call though from this lady who's going to call in. If you have a couple moments, can you get a cup of coffee and put you on hold for a minute?
Yeah, I'll go grab a cup. All right,
get a cup of coffee and come back in a couple of minutes here, Joe.
Will do, bud.
All right, sure. Joe's going to call. We're going to take a quick call from this lady. She's with the Lee County Democrats.
Hi there.
Hi. Who am I speaking with?
Connie Besco.
Hey, Connie. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Understand you got a big party going on.
Yes. Not that we want to gloat or anything, but we're excited. The Lee County Democratic Party is having a big inaugural ball.
January 21st at 6 to 10. The Lee County Democrats are going to hold it, and it's going to be, where's it going to be held at?
It's at the the Fort Myers Elks Club over on Park Meadow Drive.
And if people want to come out there, how much do they going to charge you to get in the door?
But if they'll call the Democratic headquarters and make a reservation, we'll only charge them $25.
So 30 at the door, 25 is going to be a big party. Is Byron Donalds invited?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Well, good, Byron. You come on out and see it. I might even stop out and say hi to you and my doggone self.
Very good, yes.
I don't think I'll be there, but that's okay. Y'all have a good time.
What are you going to be celebrating Monday, Byron?
Actually, I'm going to be with the Republicans in the Martin Luther King parade in Naples.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing that too in the afternoon.
See that? We do that too.
Yeah.
So there.
Oh.
In your face, Byron.
In my face.
Yes, I liked Brian, and I went to all of the debates that they had around, and he had a good showing. I liked some of the things he said.
There you go. There you go.
I'm a man of the people,
See
Smitty.
that, man? There's some common ground. You're not as lost as you thought you were, Byron.
No, I know you're not as lost as I thought.
I'm talking about you. I didn't run.
And I I even agreed with Joe there.
All right.
I know we need to get out of the. I think we need to get back home too, and I worry about those people in those countries because all the fighting that's going on there.
I hear you, Connie. Well, I'm going to tell everybody right now, if you're interested in going out to see the presidential inauguration party at the Elks Lodge, is it the Moose or the Elks?
It's the Elks.
It's the Elks Lodge, and it's in Meadow Drive.
Meadow Drive.
That's right. It's out there. Call the Democrat Society out there and get a ticket and come on out and get your groove on and say hi to Connie. And if you want to stop at the desk there and walk up, it's $30. And I'll look for you when I stop out there. Okay?
Excellent. Yes, we'll be looking forward to you. We have 2 candidates for state chair, and one of them is going to be there that night.
Okay. Well, I'll look for you and I'll say hi to you, Connie.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling in, Connie. We'll be right back on a hard break, and Joe Ruffini's holding. We'll be right back.
The ultimate tribute to the ultimate beverage, beer. The 9th Annual Ballpark Festival of Beers is Saturday, January 26th at Hammond Stadium in Fort Myers. Listen to 96 K-Rock to win a pair of tickets to the event. Live music by Superbot and unlimited beer sampling for 3 hours with over 85 beers from around the world. The Ballpark Festival of Beers, Saturday, January 26th at Hammond Stadium. Go to 96krock.com for more info on how to purchase tickets. This event is 21 and up only.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at imperialfiresecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at imperialfiresecurity.com.
License number EF2000046.
Bob Quiz, the upholstery whiz. Quiz and Quiz Reupholstery.
Have you been looking at your old tired furniture? Ready for something new? Well, don't replace. Reupholster. And when it comes to reupholstery, the most trusted name in Fort Myers is Gwiz. Gwiz & Gwiz Reupholstery offers over 30 years experience in custom reupholstery and furniture refinishing. 3rd-generation master craftsmanship for your home, boat, and auto. They can make your sofa, love seat, chairs, tables, and dressers look like new again. Is your auto headliner torn and loose? Gwiz & Gwiz can do headliners too, plus antique restoration. Gwiz & Gwiz Reupholstery offers free in-home estimates, plus free pickup and delivery. Give Gwiz & Gwiz a call today at 239-332-1700. That's 332-1700. So don't replace, reupholster with Fort Myers' most trusted name.
Bob Quiz, the upholstery whiz. Quiz and Quiz Reupholstery.
The nicest used cars anywhere in the country are right here in Naples. And they're all on NaplesUsedCars.com. Hundreds of extra clean, low-mileage used cars at a fraction of their original prices. All makes, all models. And right now it's our New Year clearance event with over 600 vehicles in stock. We're having a clearance event this weekend only. Imports and domestics like Dodge, Honda, Chevrolet, Subaru, and Toyotas all start under $5,000. Under $5,000. Luxury vehicles including Mercedes, BMW, Infiniti, Lexus, and Lincoln are on clearance starting under $10,000. Mercedes under $10,000 this weekend only during the New Year clearance event at NaplesUsedCars.com. Browse at your own pace 24 hours a day. Get your trade value, your interest rate, your down payment, your monthly payment. Even fill out your credit app online. Plus, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy one of ours. Visit NaplesUsedCars.com. That's NaplesUsedCars.com.
Plus tax, tag, and title fees sponsored by Germain.
You know, Caroline?
What?
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were in here the other day
from
Bradenton. Mm-hmm. You know what they were so impressed with, which is, one of the little things we do here. Folks, when you come to Billy and Caroline, by the way, over here at Facility Kia,
Cape Coral, Florida, during Usathon 2013. But you know what they were really impressed with, Caroline? They liked the row of test drive cars we have. You know, they went to 2 other dealerships, and then the salesman had to stumble, bumble, go out to the lot with a tag, throw it on, plastic on the seats, dingo-dong. But they come here. We have them all lined up, all gassed up, right? And the plates are already on them, and they can take them out and test drive and see if they like them, and then pick out the color and equipment they want.
Right. I mean, we know that you want to drive the car before you commit to buying it, so why not just have them available and ready to go when you get there?
Let me tell you something. That's number one. And the second thing they like was I got involved with the banks.
Oh, boy.
You know, most of these dealers are out playing golf, folks. Not me. I'm with you, baby. We're grinding.
For better or for worse?
Caroline, it's all about being huge, Caroline.
Talking our hometown, our state, and the state of our country. Now back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty on 96 K-Rock. Talk that rocks.
Hey, welcome back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD's out today. We're here with Byron Donalds and, of course, Amber. The phone lines are open, 277-9600 or 775-9600. If you want to talk to Joe Ruffini, he's on hold. Check out our live stream at Ledge Radio Show. You can also find us at Facebook if you'd like to advertise during the show. Give us a call and contact us. Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is our title sponsor, Securing Your World. And I'm going to give a quick gift away before we go to Joe Ruffini again. I got a $25 gift certificate at Connor's Steakhouse, which is in Gulf Coast Town Center Mall. We're going to give it to the 5th caller that calls up and says, winner, winner. Connor's dinner.
I'm the 5th caller.
You ain't nothing. 5th caller.
Sorry.
Don't listen to him. 5th caller calls in and says, winner, Connor's dinner. Just call up and Tripod Billy will get you hooked up and he'll give you the
winner, Connor's dinner.
Winner, Connor's dinner. Got to be the 5th one. And at 277-9600 or 775-9600, give Billy a call.
Sounds good.
We're also going to have some big $80 extreme massage thing we're going to give away at the end of the show. So that ought to be great. So stay tuned for that.
You get a happy ending with it?
Yeah, you get happy ending if you like. It costs you much more.
$5 more.
$5.
Everything in Vietnam is $5.
$5 only gets you half happy
that's
ending.
terrible.
I'm just saying,
Not
everything
terrible.
in Vietnam is $5.
Okay, let's get back to Joe Ruffini. Hey, Joe, you there?
I am. I'm just sitting here enjoying my coffee, cleaning my grenade launcher, and enjoying some good conversation.
That's what I'm talking about, Joe. That's what I'm talking
You
about.
forgot and rolling up a big fatty because you're in Colorado.
Hey, don't even get me started.
No, honestly, though, about this thing in Colorado, I was talking to my boss about this, and I said, in Colorado and Washington State, what does that do to companies? It's now legal to smoke marijuana.
Oh,
Are companies now allowed to drug test their employees?
Companies have always been allowed to drug test their employees, especially the defense contractors, and they still do. I went to work many years ago as a consultant for Lucent Technologies in Denver. This was 2001, and the first thing they did was they sent me down to the drug testing place down here in Colorado. Oh yeah, I mean, we could talk for 2 hours on the problems that legalized marijuana is bringing to the state of Colorado. I mean, you got kids now, that are buying and smoking and are not thinking 2 or 3 years down the line when they get out of college and they go to apply for that first job, and the first thing they have to do is go down and take a drug test, and they fail it, and they say, but wait a minute, it's legal in the state. And the company says, well, we don't care if it's legal in the state.
That's the problem.
Right. I mean, we could do a whole show on this, guys, but in answer to your question, Byron, no, I'm not rolling or smoking anything here.
That was Smitty's question. I knew better than that.
You know how Byron gets. He gets sideways. Byron, you better watch what you say.
Sometimes after a long week, one of the best breakfasts a man can have is a nice cold beer while he's cleaning his grenade launcher. But no, I'm not smoking anything.
Oh, man, that's good. That's good.
It's probably a good thing. I don't know, smoking and then cleaning a grenade launcher
Well,
is probably not a
once
good
you
combo.
smoke, you don't even want to pick up your gun.
I was
That's
going to say,
upside,
just lay down next to it.
Yeah, you go, it looks good. I'm going to sleep.
It's pretty shiny.
Good. Well, I want to thank you, Joe, for calling in. Is there anything you want to plug for yourself, Joe?
No, I mean, if folks are interested in reading a little bit more about where Al Qaeda may be going, if you go to Amazon.com, the book is The Death of Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, His Death and the Future of the Islamist Jihad. It's an e-book. You can download it for a couple bucks on Amazon. And other than that, other than wishing you fine folks out there in Florida a great Florida day, and keep your powder dry, and keep the debate going. It's always a good thing.
Absolutely, Joe. I mean, I can't thank you enough for taking time today. It's terrific having somebody that's an expert like you, on the subject to enlighten us a little bit. And the conversation is always a pleasure. Always a
It's
pleasure.
always a pleasure on this end. There's nothing I enjoy better, like I said, on a Saturday morning than a good handgun, a cold beer, and some lively debate on your show there.
All right.
Well,
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, Joe, for,
All right,
for
you guys
calling
take
in.
care. Be safe.
All right, I'll be in touch.
Hey, Smitty, real quick.
Sure.
Let's change gears for a moment because at this debate we did, the 5 hot mics thing. At this debate we did, you brought up the tie between morality and money.
Mm-hmm.
And I had done some reading on this before the debate, but everybody else had notes except me, so I didn't bring my notes with me. But I found this. I wanted to bring this back to you.
Sure.
Because actually it's a whole article, it's a whole essay about the inseparable link between morality and economics. And one part of this, they talk about, different things going on in your government, so on and so forth, that governments will do. Is that actually morally correct? And here's one part of the essay. It goes like this. What if the economy is in a recession? Should the United States Monetary Authority, the Federal Reserve, stimulate the economy by lowering interest rates through expanding the money supply? From a biblical perspective, such an easy money policy is immoral and economically counterproductive. Henry Hazlitt candidly explained, when modern governments inflate by increasing the paper money supply, directly or indirectly, they do in the principle what kings once did when they clipped the coins. Diluting the money supply with paper is the moral equivalent of diluting the milk supply with water. Your thoughts?
Well, I'll get back to that in a minute. I'm going to get to the winner that just called up.
Oh, okay. Is it me?
Yeah.
Winner, come in.
That's it. Where are you at, man? Kev, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, buddy. What's the phrase, bro?
It's winner, Connor's dinner.
All right, my friend, come on down and get it.
Yeah.
$25 gift certificate to Connor's Steakhouse right here in Gulf Coast Town Center Mall. It's a great place. They have soup and all kind of great food. We go there for breakfast.
They have
steak. They have all kind of stuff. They have a great place to have a bite to eat, and the atmosphere is great too. So thanks for calling in. Stay tuned and make sure you're a regular customer over here. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. Thanks for calling.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, no, back to Byron's thing. Look, let me read a couple things, and you tell me what you think.
Sure, you go ahead.
Okay.
I like how you didn't address what I said, but you go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
Would you agree? I'm going to read some things. Tell me if you agree. Not to cut the safety nets, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, seniors. Would you agree with that?
To not cut them?
That's right, not cut anything.
Like eliminate them 100% as of tomorrow?
No, don't cut any of the safety nets. We need the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.
Do I agree with that?
Yeah, you agree with that?
No, because they have to be reformed.
Absolutely.
Okay. Don't cut investments in prosperity like education, R&D, infrastructure, things like that.
No, because they have to be reformed.
Okay. Cut out corporate welfare. What about corporate welfare, like agribusiness, big pharma, insurance, Wall Street?
Absolutely.
So cut out.
Absolutely.
So you're for that one?
Yes.
Okay. Don't cut the budget deficit as long as the unemployment remains high. Otherwise, it will cause the economy to contract and make the deficit even larger. That is the austerity trap that the Europeans fell into.
Actually, I disagree with
American
that.
prosperity, not European austerity.
I disagree with that because short-term austerity measures are a good thing for long-term economic growth. Because what happens is, just like I read, is diluting the milk supply a good thing for all people, or is still having rich milk, although it may be scarce in some degrees, better because it makes people have to think of different ways to be able to get that milk? That's the question.
Well,
is diluting the milk supply or diluting our money supply? Let me phrase it this way. Is it more compassionate for the poor to dilute the value of their money so that when their incomes do not rise, they don't have the money to buy more things? Their standard of living lowers because they don't have the money to buy more things because you've diluted the value of their money. Do rising incomes matter, or does the ability to buy more with your dollar matters? See, I think the latter. I think the ability to buy more with your dollar matters as opposed to your income level.
But when you're broke and you don't have any money, it doesn't really matter. Top of the 10% of Americans now earn 50% of the national income. Man.
What do the bottom 50% earn, Smitty?
Everything they can get their hands on
Smitty,
that.
if you make $25,000 a year, right? But you spend $25,000 a year just to get the basic necessities of food and shelter, is that the fault of your income, or is that the fault of the government diluting the money supply, thereby lowering your ability to purchase goods and services?
So you're blaming the feds?
Yes, I'm blaming the feds, and I'm blaming the politicians. Because if you dilute the money supply, what you end up doing is you decrease the purchasing power for the very poor and middle income of our country.
Well, more than 40% of Americans now who actually are employed are now only working service jobs now, which are obviously low-paying jobs. They're not high-end jobs. They're low-end jobs.
Hold on a minute. Let me go back to the beginning. Their job frankly, doesn't really matter. It's the ability of your dollar to buy the things you need to survive in your life and to entertain you in your life. That's what matters. Globalization is the best thing for the very poor because it decreases the cost of goods and services. But if we continue to expand the money supply, i.e. decrease the value of the dollar, that's the worst thing for poor Americans, and it helps to exacerbate recessions because then you don't have a booming economy coming back. What you have is stagnation like the Japanese have been dealing with for the last 2 decades and like we went through during the Great Depression.
Well, you read your little thing.
I got more of that too.
And let me read the one that I have here, okay? This is the one that I used down to 5 mics, okay? And my question was why morality is always attached to a money value. Like I said, we all like to do and say what we want to do the right thing. We all want to do make a difference, right? Until it costs us money. Doing the right thing is easier said than done. I've always maintained that to find any true resolve in any issue is simple. You only need to ask 2 simple questions. Is it the truth? And is it the right thing to do? Again, something that sounds so simple, yet many Americans refuse to address many of the issues we now face. Without some self-reflection, we may never resolve any of them. How can we be a nation that is always willing to help other countries and give so much to other people, but when it comes to our own citizens, we refuse to help ourselves? We are told those people, they just don't want to work. They don't want to help themselves. They're incapable of doing anything, and we should not be asked to help them. I'm sure all of them are on drugs or some kind of issue. You know, all I did was I took care of my kids. I took care of my bills. I took care of myself. I took care of my education. I took care of my family. I took. You know, we have become a nation that's divided by forces and politicians that are narcissistic and self-promoting. We have become cold. This has become a vulgar word to become a so-called liberal. The moral majority has become a voice of old views and intolerance of anyone that supports any social programs or any progressive changes at all. Truth, there is nothing moral about turning away from people that do need your help. Okay? They deserve a chance. And the rhetoric and spin that clouds our minds is sinful. Sure, there are many people that game the system and others that may not deserve any help. But don't let this poison your hearts or your minds. The Americans need our help. And that's what I wrote.
That's what you wrote. And I disagreed with you then, and I disagree with you now.
I'm surprised.
And here's
stunned.
why. Because it is free market. Listen, free market capitalism, like Joe talked about, is what's going to transform the entire country of China. Free market capitalism, not crony capitalism, not GE palling around with Barack Obama. And listen, I will go there and say it, not Halliburton palling around with Dick Cheney.
A lot of corporate corruption.
Crony capitalism does not produce the type of wealth in this country. What does that is free markets and free people choosing and seeking their own self-interest. In my opinion, the entitlement programs and the social programs are net failures. Sure, you could pick out somebody that rose above their initial starting point. But for the totality of our country, it is a failure because it's going to sink us in unsurmountable debt that future Americans.
It's the morality thing to do. You have to take care. You have to take care of people. You have to take care. We're going to take a quick break.
Because we're going to talk into that.
I'm going to play something when we get back. We'll take a real quick break. 277-9600 or 775-9600. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Bubba the Love Sponge. Check me out mornings right here on 96 K-Rock from 6 till 10 a.m. Followed by an all-new lineup of the best damn radio shows, period. Zito and Garrett middays. Stan and Haney afternoons. Followed by Lex and Terry, the Nick and Artie. The Alex Jones Show, and Man Count. Check out all the shows on 96krock.com. Take K-Rock everywhere you go by downloading the iRadio Now app on your smartphone or your Android. It's a radio station that has balls to give you exactly what you wanted. Entertaining radio. 96 K-Rock. Talk that rocks.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at ImperialFireSecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at ImperialFireSecurity.com.
License number EF2000046.
Duncan's Diamonds, the largest diamond and jewelry superstores, is having a diamond sale with savings of up to 75%. Find great prices on certified diamonds. Make Mr. Duncan an offer. Duncan's Diamond Extravaganza, Fort Myers, US 41, and in the Gulf Coast Town Center.
Sometimes you just never know what you don't know. Did you know that in some bankruptcy cases, when you have more than one mortgage or line of credit on your property, it may be possible to get rid of that second mortgage? If you're successful, you never have to pay that loan again. Hey, I'm a spokes guy, not a lawyer, but a free consultation might make all the difference. Call the law office of Bob Tardif in Fort Myers, 239-362-2755, or visit bankruptcybodyguard.com. Find out just what you don't know.
Victory Lane Chevy has finally completed our remodeling project. And all modesty aside, we look great after 9 long months of. And all is quiet, and we are now ready for a celebration. So Southwest Florida, come and join us this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, January 25th through the 27th for extreme fun and excitement. We'll have free food and drinks, live music, classic cars, a performance by the Fred Astaire Dance Studio, and lots of kids games. And while you're here, be sure to register to win a truckload of prizes. That's right, Southwest Florida, Victory Lane Chevy is giving away a truckload of prizes. And that's not all. Buy a new or used car or truck this weekend only, and then jump right into our money machine where you'll get to keep all the cash you can grab. So put us on your calendar because Victory Lane Chevy is the place to be this weekend. See the all-new Victory Lane Chevrolet. Victory Lane Chevrolet, corner of Fowler and Winkler, Fort Myers.
Call for details.
Get back in the black after the holidays by visiting Fort Myers Harley-Davidson or Naples Harley-Davidson and ride a pre-owned bike for as little as $99 a month with guaranteed credit approval. Everybody rides, no matter what your situation is. And while you're here, check out our huge selection of new 2013 Harley-Davidson models with 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 210 days. Check out HarleyFlorida.com for more, subject to lender approval.
At BMW, we've always been known for firsts. We introduced onboard navigation first. We developed active front steering first. We even launched night vision with pedestrian detection first. So the fact that the BMW 3 Series is the only car to have ever won Car and Driver's 10 Best, 22 years in a row, it's just another first in a long line of firsts. The legendary BMW 3 Series has done it again, winning Car and Driver's 10 Best Award in unprecedented 22 years in a row. Come in and see why for yourself. And remember, every new BMW comes with ultimate service. No cost maintenance for the first 4 years or 50,000 miles. BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. For complete details on BMW Ultimate Service, visit bmwusa.com/ultimate service.
Now through January 31st, lease a 2013 BMW 328i sedan for only $369 per month with no cost maintenance. Visit bmwswdealers.com for details.
Let's get back to work, please.
So, go ahead.
Now back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty on 96 K-Rock. Talk that rocks.
Hi, welcome back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. Phone lines are open, 277-9600 or 775-9600. Give us a call. We're going to be talking about some more stuff with Lance Armstrong in a minute, actually, because I want to bring it up. But first, Byron Downs wanted to respond a little bit and briefly talk about our...
Lance Armstrong is a liar. Let's move on. Next question. Okay, real quick.
Well, real fast. I want to give away this extreme massage. Now, this is an $80 value. This is an $80 value. It's a full body massage. No happy ending. Okay. It's a 1 hour full massage, $8 value. It's from Extreme Relaxing Massage, okay? They're located at 1844 Irish Road, Fort Myers, Florida. And Brian Jordan is the professional licensed therapist out there. We're going to give this away. We're going to say the sixth caller that calls in and says, give me that extreme massage. It's all yours. Sixth caller. All
right.
Give me that extreme massage. Call up now for that baby. Maybe give it to your girlfriend, man. Studio phones are 277-9600, 775-9600. 6 caller. Give me that extreme massage. It's all yours. Call up. Go ahead, Byron.
All right, now check this out, because you brought up points about why is it that we can't care for one another, why is it that we should cut these social programs. My argument is that the social programs have proven to be failures. But let me expand on that. First point. You know, the government actually has an auditor called the GAO. They went and did their audit of the government this week. The report came out. And what they realized is that even though they're giving out this report, they can't really substantiate the claims because the data in the federal government is so piss poor and terrible. And so here's what the
government's flawed, you're telling me?
Of course it is. That's why I'm a conservative. But now, let's move on, because the guts of it is this. They're saying that just for Medicare, for the next 75 years is going to cost us $27.2 trillion. There is not $27.2 trillion in our country today, which means Medicare is going to fall apart right in front of our eyes. It is not moral to leave these programs untouched. They must be reformed because they will blow up in the very eyes of future seniors and the young who have to pay for them. But let me expound on this point a little bit, because you know, here's the thing. Are those programs consistent with economic laws? In my view, they are not. Each of these transfer payments or deemed entitlements is contrary to the 8th commandment against stealing. Of course, many, if not most, believe that these programs are acts of charity of some social good. Actually, these programs take income by political force from those who have earned it to those who have not. Charity is voluntary. It is not expressed through government transfer payments, which are coercive. The economic consequences of redistribution is to destroy or crowd out real charity, thereby weaken individual concern for their fellow man. It also diminishes productive expenditure in favor of consumptive spending. The inevitable consequence of capital consumption is lower living standards for all. So this is the economic argument why these programs need to be reformed and then slowly whittled away so that we can have a sustained America here.
Well, I would tend to agree that, yes, there has to be some adjustments, but I'm not going to turn my back on the people that need the help the most. It's just not going to happen for me.
No one's going to do that because that's what your taxes go to.
Well,
I mean,
so you
that's
say.
what your Medicare, your FICA taxes.
I heard him quote the Bible, so I'll do him up here. Proverbs 14:31.
Oh, biblical now.
He who oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. So there you go.
And I think that's in personal charity as well.
That's
though.
personal charity.
Psalms 82, defend the cause of the weakness and the fatherless, maintain the rights of the poor and oppressed, rescue the weak and needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked.
But again,
who's the wicked?
Those are
it's
all
the people
things
that have.
Those are things that are
it's
done
the people
privately,
that have.
not by the heavy hand of government.
You're asking people to just, we'll just let them give what they want to give because we don't want to make them give. If you told all the rich people that they don't have to pay taxes, they'd be like, well, pay what you want to pay. They won't pay.
Smitty, the great robber barons that everybody likes to talk about on the left, they're the ones who created our great charities before the federal government. And that is the absolute fact. They created the Red Cross. They created these charities that helped people before the New Deal. My argument is we don't have $27.2 trillion. Do you have $80 trillion for all these programs?
I'm a little thin right now.
We do not.
I'm a little thin.
Well, guess what? So is the United States government. They don't have the money for these things.
All right, let's take a call on line 1. Go ahead. Winner, you there?
Yeah.
What's the phrase, man?
Give me this extreme massage.
All right, man. You better give it to your girlfriend because I don't trust you, man. So, all right, buddy. All right, hey, what's your name?
Bill Bauer.
All right, Bill. Thank you so much for calling in, buddy. Stay tuned next week as well, and hopefully you're a loyal listener, and tell all your friends, my friend.
You know what I do.
All right, my friend. Thanks
let's
for
leave
calling.
the theory and let's move on to practicality and actuality.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is the social programs are not going to go away anytime soon, and I mean 50 years.
No, they're not.
What needs to happen is you got to seriously reform them, though. The retirement age does have to increase. I think food stamps, there has to be a lifetime cap on food stamps.
So you're a young guy. You don't think about retirement. I'm an old guy, man. I have a hard time getting out of bed
Smitty,
now. You want to raise the
you want to know why I'm thinking about it? Because I'm the one that's going to pay for it.
I was 40 and started hurting to get my knees getting out of bed. And I appreciate it, too, because I paid for my guy. When I paid for the old guys.
But there's not enough
But you young guys don't want to pay for the older guys now.
No. There's not enough
Pay
people,
it forward.
Smitty.
Did you see that movie, Pay It Forward?
Smitty, when you were paying for other people, there was 15 of you. Right now, there's only 3 of me.
And plus
there's
your dollar
not
went
enough
further, though,
bodies.
Too. Right.
There's not enough.
Well, you better fix it, Byron. That's all I can tell
you. Well, you want to know how you fix it? You want to get real?
Yeah.
This will probably torpedo any future political aspirations
Go
I might have.
This is exclusive. Breaking news. Go ahead.
abortion is one of the main reasons why we do not have
That's
the
right.
bodies to support this entitlement
That's
state.
absolutely true.
That's the truth of the matter.
Ooh.
Let's be real now.
It was set up actually in lower income
Thank you very
areas
much.
to actually kind of
Still
keep a cap on, racism.
The rise of
blacks.
minorities
Yeah.
and blacks.
Right.
Now
I mean,
listen,
call it what it is.
Any future political constituency, let me just let you know right now that I am factual in all my arguments. If abortion has seen to the death of more children than any other thing in our society, and that is why we don't have the numbers to support the entitlement state that we have.
But it's a woman's
That's
right.
math.
We've been down this road before.
I'm just talking the math.
I just say it's a woman's right to choose, and we're going to leave it at that.
Listen, Bill Clinton can talk about math and talk about women's rights. Why can't I?
But we're just talking about consequences from it.
Well, let's leave it at that. Let me talk about. So before we only have 10 minutes, a real quick break, and I got to talk about Lance Armstrong. I know you don't want to talk about Lance Armstrong, but you have to. I mean, here's a guy, 41, admitted for the first time in a decade-long dominance thing that he had with the bike, that he finally admitted that he cheated. He finally admitted he did EPOs. He admitted that he was doing some transfusions. He admitted he was doing some shots. And after all these races, after staunch, just not giving an inch, calling other people out liars, calling them all kinds of names, taking them to court, he sued them. After everything, he finally comes clean and says, well, yeah, I sort of did. Now, he did say, the only thing that the whole report that he was upset, he said, the accusation and the alleged proof that he said I doped in 2000 is not true. The last time I crossed the line, that line was in 2005. So he says 2005 was the last time that he really did any major doping. I don't know what major doping is, but I guess that's the thing. Now, what do you say to this? Now, it's interesting because it's a sports thing.
Amber,
obviously.
you go ahead and
Well,
talk
the hook,
about
line,
Lance
and sinker
Armstrong.
is when he told Oprah that he thought he deserved to, race again. I thought that was kind of baffling because
he can run.
Here he was stripped of all of his titles and his charities, and here we're deserving to run again.
Well, I'll tell you. Before we go, let's take a quick call from Frank on line 1. Frank, what's up? Frank, are you there?
Yep.
All right, my friend, what's on your mind?
I have never heard such nonsense in my life. This guy, abortion forces women to have babies. You can't, in China they force them to have an abortion. It's not the government's duty to tell a woman whether she can have a baby or not. That's what abortion is, making it illegal. And I remember when it was illegal, and the rich girls would go take a trip down to Bermuda and get fixed, and the poor girls had to risk their lives.
True.
With illegal abortionists.
That is true.
That's not fair.
That is true.
And this guy that's talking, I think he's an African American.
I think he is. Hold on, let me look.
I'm a black man. I am.
He's a brother.
And he's using the Bible to use economics. That is absolutely ridiculous. And
sacrilegious.
That's ridiculous.
That's it.
Sir, well, Frank, let me first of all.
So much for Lance Armstrong.
If I may respond.
You are from outer space, my friend. The black people were helped by the government. Thank God. Don't you realize that?
They're oppressed by the government.
If I may.
And they were also helped. Recently, affirmative action is a great deal. Great program, and you are really stupid.
Damn.
If I may.
Yes, please do, Byron.
Allow me
Shut
to
this guy up,
respond.
please.
Allow me to respond.
Please make it quick.
My argument is purely about math and economics. It's not about the emotion of abortion. I'm not saying we're going to end abortion in this country. I never said anything of the like. I'm just speaking the simple, straightforward fact that if we had more able-bodied working Americans in this country, we would have the capital base to support Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
But there's no jobs to put them to work. There's no jobs to put. If we all of a sudden blinked our eyes and there was another 5 million people,
automatically, if you
there's
blink your
nobody
eyes,
there.
of course, Smitty. But what you got to understand is that when there is more bodies to feed, that creates more avenues for economic benefits. There is more economic benefit when there's more people to work and to consume products.
Tell China that.
What do you mean tell
I
China?
I was going to say that was a great example.
Come on now. And listen, I know when you bring abortion in, and we talked about this often, when you bring abortion into a conversation, everybody gets emotional, and they stop using their minds and thinking through these things rationally. The truth of the matter is, 80% of the people agree on 80% of the things. Where we get divided on are, frankly, God, guns, gays, and you can throw in abortion too. And people put their minds aside, and they get emotional about arguments. I'm not going to do that for anybody. Frank, thank you so much for your call.
Well,
so much class
so much for Lance Armstrong. I was talking about Lance.
He's a liar.
We could talk about Manti Te'o, the guy that had
bless his heart.
Talk about Manti. Go ahead.
Talk about Manti.
Bless his heart. He got duped. I know you think that he knew about it most of the time, but
the middle linebacker.
He's a good-looking guy.
A good-looking guy who plays for the Irish, the Fighting Irish on Notre Dame, for 3 years was online and saw this girl that was sending him pictures, and he got duped.
She must have had one hot bottom. Duped. I don't know, because
there's no way in the world you're a guy that's 23, 24, whatever.
I mean, in all honesty, most football players aren't the brightest. I mean, call a spade a spade.
And turn around and said, I got duped. I mean, come on, man.
Did you see his response, though? The guy couldn't put 3 sentences together.
I'm going to turn to the webcam, let the webcam see my face. Because this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't care about his disappearing girlfriend.
Have you seen his real girlfriend? He hadn't either. That's
pretty good.
Nobody's seen her.
Listen.
You know what? You guys are all going to feel bad when he shoots himself or something terrible because he's so terribly embarrassed. This guy's a young kid.
He just needs to go to the NFL,
what he was doing.
Make his money, find him a good-looking woman, and be happy.
He was sitting there on the internet playing around, thought, sure, you look good to me, man. I'm all in. But then all of a sudden she vanished. And so it was like a genie, gone.
He needs to go whore around for the next week with actual physical women and get his, his self-confidence back.
Watch that language.
Can we listen? Nobody needs to be talking about Manti Te'o and his foolishness. We got real issues to talk about.
We do.
Silly,
we do. We're going to address the issues next week. We're going to tune into the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. JD will be back here, and we'll have some other guests, I'm sure, and some giveaways as well. I want to thank Byron Downs for coming out here and having some fun.
It was fun.
And of course, Amber, she brings some eye candy for the guys. And you just look so good, Amber. Wow.
I'm glad I can help from the neck down.
So are a lot of people. All right.
You see that the Democrat war on women?
We'll see you next week on the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. Thanks.